Hi, everyone. I'm Linmayu Appavu, and I'm here with Joan Forrest Mage, and we're from Life Force Arts Ensemble. And today, wanted to talk about the Life Force Arts method and the law of attraction and how those relate to each other. So, Joan, what are your initial thoughts on that? I'm gonna.
Yes, it's very interesting. Life Force Arts method, in a lot of ways, it helps you understand your own human consciousness, right? And
Right.
what you're thinking and feeling. And it has four sections that really help you do that. And in terms of the law of attraction, which law of attraction means that your thoughts create what's your,
Create your. Yeah.
yeah, the attraction to you, things that you attract to yourself. And the Life Force Arts method can really help you to understand what's going on within you and therefore what you're attracting. Right.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because there's definitely work that we've done because so many times people are trying to use the law of attraction and you make the vision board and all these things to make you visualize what you want. But so often, like our minds are thinking about what we're afraid of, what we don't want. And I feel like the work that we do at Life Force Arts Ensemble really helps with getting that straightened out. Or
Yes.
would you say that?
Yeah, exactly. It helps you think deeply about what you want and what is maybe the block to what you want. And all of that is the kind of thing that we do through the arts. So we use visual, literary, and performing arts, dancing, writing, singing, drawing, whatever the person is comfortable with to do as their own practice, but also to observe like our art exhibit or to watch the performances that we do. Mhm.
Very cool. So, Joan, can you tell us a little bit about the Life Force Arts method wheel and like what parts of the wheel might be related to the law of attraction? And I can bring the wheel up on the screen.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the wheel is a medicine wheel. It is not, which is not necessarily in the sense of like a Native American medicine wheel, but it is a way of looking at life and understanding life and consciousness. And so the first part of the wheel is to understand what you're thinking and feeling. And so, of course, that relates. So that's the part that's called streaming.
this is
And
an
then
older.
the second part of the wheel is osmosis, which is to what do you stand up for? Standing up for what you think and feel. And so, of course, that relates to the law of attraction because, like, what are you like really wanting that you can, put yourself forth in a very present way that you want it? And then dialogue is interacting. So, how do you create what you want to see, you know. And what is the process of not just saying, oh, I'd like this thing, but really engaging with it and maybe seeing any of the conflicts that you have with it and how to resolve those conflicts, because that's also part of the law of attraction, right? Yes, you're putting
Totally.
forth, yeah, what you want, but is there a conflict within yourself that's keeping you from it? Or is there, like, once you get to a certain part of what you want, you find out, oh, it wasn't what I thought I wanted, or what the
Yeah.
experience was not what I thought it was going to be. And then crystallizing, which is the last part of the wheel, is about a crystallized form. Like, what is the structure and the form of what it is that you want? So, taking those steps to create how you can have or manifest this thing in your life on a regular basis. So those are just some ways that I would say. Mhm.
That is awesome, Joan. Now, I actually have a rant about this right now, about
Okay.
crystallized forms in particular.
Oh,
So, yeah, because I feel like in our culture and in the world, like there is a lot of money, a lot of people that are pushing specific crystallized forms through advertising, through the media, through other just ways to get things in front of your face that they're telling you what to look at, what to think about.
Mhm.
So I feel like understanding the wheel and understanding how this is created, how we can create our own crystallized forms that doesn't necessarily match up what the world is giving us
Exactly.
is a big thing.
Yeah, it's not prepackaged. It comes from what's in your heart. Like the center of the wheel is the true self. What is your true self? And then how these different things relate to creating that more and more, being in tune more and more with your true self.
Very awesome. Okay, I have more questions.
Which of course, the true self relates directly to the 9 levels of self.
You were right ahead of me. I was just about to ask you about the 9
There
levels
you
of
go.
self. So does that mean you want me to bring up that chart right now? I'll do that. Okay,
Yeah.
1 second. Let's bring up the 9 levels of self.
So I think you were asking, like, what is how does the law of attraction relate to the 9 levels of self? That was one of
Yeah,
the questions. What would you say?
I
That-
have a theory on it, of course,
Tell me.
because I feel like with the law of attraction, like you can look at your life, and if you're seeing like, okay, like I want to attract a loving partner, but like then you go out and you're getting like one emotionally unavailable person after another, then it becomes a question of like, where is the root cause of that?
Mhm.
Like in the like, what is going on in me that's making me keep bringing the situation back to me over and over again? So I feel like that is like really where like the 9 levels of self comes in, because it's probably in one of these 9 levels of self.
Right. Pretty much anything you can think of is in one of these 9 levels of self. And so the 9 levels of self are the integrated self, which is what you think of when you say, hi, my name is Joan, right? And then it's the overall who you are, and like how you think of yourself as an individual. And then there's also your emotional body or physical body and your emotional body, your spiritual body, and your subpersonalities, like different parts of yourself. Like your wise self wants to do this, but your carefree self wants to do this other thing, and your 5-year-old wants to do something else, So sometimes the conflicts are within that, the 9 level or the subpersonalities. Then beyond your personal concept of who you are, there's also group energy, which is imprints of other people, like people that you knew, and you take on their characteristics or something that they say or their way they think or physical movements or something like that. And then group energy is any kind of group that you belong to, knowingly or unknowingly. So like, for example, your family of origin, how they think, what they thought, what they passed on to you, like a religious group you may belong to, a school, whatever, whatever kind of group, ethnic group, your family history and ancestral history, things you don't even know that happened to, like generations back, but somehow that's still been passed on to you. This is very real, right?
Right.
And then also you go into the spiritual form of like say spiritual entities like spirit guides, and also the life force, which is the great source that everything belongs to. So which level of self is, helping you? Which level of self is creating the problem? This thinking about these things can really help you.
Cool. Okay. So
Identifying
yeah,
the problems. Yeah.
do you think that having like a creative community that supports you being your true self would help a person to manifest what they want in the world?
No, it has nothing to do with it at all. No, it absolutely it does, because that's one of the things that we talk about a lot with the Life Force Arts method. There's the true self, but there's the creative community, right? So it's nice to say, be your best self and do self, work on yourself and self-development and all of that. But if you've got nowhere to go that, accepts you or that really values your talents.
Mhm.
And, I, at one point in my life, I realized, I'm never going to put myself at a disadvantage again, knowingly, right? And I just need to be with people that appreciate me. And I like the word appreciate. And it was like, as soon as I realized that, it was like the next day I got a new job where people really appreciated me. Just by being so crystal clear about that, I don't have to run around in circles, trying to please people that, I'm just not what they want. Okay, go ahead. I'll go find somebody that does, and to
Right.
have your own, it's amazing when I tell people about that it's not even on their radar that they could think that way.
Right. I think people are really used to like just having to like keep things inside that they know are not socially acceptable.
Mhm. Well, it's not about being socially acceptable, it's about being appreciated.
Mhm.
It's like, we want what you have. We respect you. You know, um, uh, 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 the work you're doing is exactly what we need, rather than, gee, I wish you could change. Gee, we
Mhm.
really need somebody else here. We don't like you. It's amazing how much people put up with that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's really, really insane how much, especially in like professional situations, how much people put up with that kind of thing.
Right. And it is so many places it's endemic in the system, like of everybody seems to be, not understanding that they should be appreciated from the highest to the lowest.
Mhm.
Yeah, positions, like say in a company or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
happens far too often.
Mhm. Mhm. I feel like one of the unique things about Life Force Arts Ensemble is that, like, I feel like anyone who has a common interest is able to find a place where they fit in
Hmm.
the community. Or what would you say? Is that something that was by design or just happened?
Oh, definitely by design. I mean, like Life Force Arts is all about um, changing the paradigm, right? Changing that kind of paradigm where there's no connection between the true self and the community, right? You almost can't say it's a creative community unless it's doing that, unless it's accepting the true self
Right.
of the people in the community.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's just some kind of dead crystallized form.
Right.
Can't be creative within it.
So many things are just based on like ego or based on one personality, and then everyone kind of like bows down to that person. But it's different like at Life Force because everyone's got their own. I don't I'm going off in all kinds of directions, but
Mhm.
I feel like that you are someone who is like really awakening people to become their true self, whatever that ends up being.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, that is what I try to do. Authenticity. Yeah. And being able to be real. If you start from that, life becomes so easy. You know, in a sense, you can say we work a lot with energy,
Mhm.
right? It's the idea of, like, if you want to talk about the law of attraction, it's about energy.
Right. It's very much about it.
Yeah. And so where is your energy? And do you have energy? If you're not happy, if you feel like you have to be restrained, if you're not sure of yourself, your energy is real low.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
true. So here's a question. We've got this program, the Healing Arts Intensive, that we do at Life Force. And how do you think that that might help people with really changing that personal like level of energy, helping people make that shift of whatever they want to create in their life?
Well, it does it in all kinds of different ways. I mean, one of the things is we do sound healing, like both in the individual, well, a healing arts intensive is like a 6 session process of, that's a group therapeutic process through the arts. And some of it is the people in the intensive doing their own artwork, like through drawing or writing primarily. Some of it is also observing the performance of Life Force Arts Ensemble. Some of it is them looking at the exhibit that we have. And this is all done online primarily right now because of all the situation. Um, so there's things like the sound healing that we do in the performance or in some of the sessions. There is things like drawing, writing. A lot of people have written some beautiful pieces, including yourself, you know. And so it shows people how they can shift energy through the
Mm-hmm.
arts. And again, it's all that stuff about focusing your energy. A part of the reason we do it as a group process is that idea of the creative community. You know, it's one thing to maybe do this work on your own, you know, like journal or draw or something like that, or dance or sing.
Right.
But when you get then in a group of people that are also working on their transformative process, their creative process, having a goal. For example, we have our transformational goal is the core of the Healing Arts Intensive. So by the end of those 6 weeks, the purpose is to have either achieved or made some progress toward what you want to see change in your life. So those are all ways in which we work.
Yeah, that's very cool. Um, I think that was the last question that I had. Joan, do we know when the next Healing Arts Intensive is?
Yes, it's going to be starting on February 15th, which
Okay.
are 6 Mondays. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the Signet Soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will drop the link to that in the comments under here. And then there's another class that I'm teaching will be next Tuesday, the 9th, which will be actually on money manifestation with the Life Force Arts method. So there's money manifestation and there's manifest your man. So there's 2 different weeks. So I'll
Right.
put all those links. But definitely,
It's good for Valentine's Day too.
oh my God,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Manifest your man or woman or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else that you've got, Joan?
What you've participated in several of the Healing Arts Intensives, so how would you answer that question?
So here's how I would answer that question, because I first came to Healing Arts Intensive like last year,
Mhm.
and I tend to use them for professional development and to like answer questions I have regarding my own work and what I'm going to do, and straightening out that whole thing out of like who I am and what I do. And that definitely like caused major shifts in my life. And it just goes back to what you said about the creative community,
Mhm.
because now after, I don't know how long it's been that I've been coming to the Healing Arts Intensive, but everyone that I work with now is someone that I fully trust. It's
There you
someone that
go.
I feel
Mhm.
like, and I've worked like probably maybe like 31, 32 jobs at this point in my life. So
Mhm.
I can say that's a rare thing, that to be working in your creative community all the time is like super awesome.
You
So
know,
that would be the
that,
shift that I've
yeah,
gotten.
yeah. And I mean, that should be the basis.
Mhm.
That should be the bottom line where you start. I mean, to me, that's
It should be. It should
what
be.
I'm trying, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. it's nice to know your true self, but you need a creative community. And that should be the plan for every human being.
Right.
Shouldn't have to put up with inauthenticity, with abuse, with, all the levels of not being appreciated down to actual abuse.
Or like the crazy kinds of just dysfunction that
Yeah.
I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah. Which also happened because it's not a creative community.
Right.
I mean, dysfunction would not go very far unless it was a whole bunch of other dysfunctional people trying to run this place. Yeah, it's like, what does it mean to be an adult in the best sense of the term? Nowadays people talk about that, younger people talking about adulting.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't know what it means to be an adult. I mean, to be an adult means that you have power and you have responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, and you are a sovereign. You are autonomous. You are respected. Yeah, those are the things.
Concepts, I think.
What?
Those are pretty foreign concepts to a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I don't think that I thought about being a sovereign, being respected, or any of that like would come upon adulthood,
Well, that is, that you're acting like an adult and you're being treated as an adult when it's not something you necessarily just achieve.
Right.
Or that just happens. It's how are people treating you?
Mm-hmm.
Are we all treating each other as adults?
That's a question.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good topic for another time too.
That is a great topic for another time. We will talk about it another time. So in the meantime, what we'll leave us with is if anybody wants to know more about Life Force Arts Ensemble, what should they do?
They should contact us here. Usually it'll be me, or sometimes it's you.
Yeah.
At Joan at lifeforcearts.org. You can look at our website, lifeforcearts.org. Our phone number is 773-327-7224. Yeah.
Yay. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Joan. And thank you all for watching.
Yes. Thank you.
I wasn't watching the Facebook Live. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.